All right, welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive.
Glad to be back.
This one really caught my eye.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this video, it's got these three, they call themselves prophets,
Okay.
Steve Cioccolanti, Amanda Grace, and Brandon Biggs.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, well, Biggs is talking about this vision he had about Donald Trump.
Oh, wow.
And it all ties into, that total solar eclipse we saw back in April.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
it's pretty wild, some of the stuff he's saying.
Yeah, what's he like? What kind of vision is this? What's he saying?
So he talks about, like, Trump giving this campaign speech, and a bullet, like, almost hits him.
Ooh.
Yeah, like, whizzes right past his ear.
Like an assassination attempt.
Yeah, yeah. And he says that Trump drops to his knees and starts praying.
Oh, wow.
But get this, he even saw the bullet pass so close that it, like, damaged Trump's eardrum.
Really? Like he saw the eardrum?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
That's wild.
Yeah, and it's kind of creepy because remember that attempt on Trump's life back in July during that campaign speech?
Oh, yeah, right.
And Trump even posted on social media about it after, talking about how divine intervention saved him.
Wow.
So it's like, it makes you wonder, like, did Biggs actually have some kind of premonition, or is it just coincidence?
Yeah, I mean, that is really interesting, that connection, huh?
It really is, and it doesn't stop there. Biggs goes on to describe, like, Trump winning the election,
Okay.
but then he's, like, in the Oval Office, just totally overwhelmed with despair.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he says it's because of this massive financial crash, like, way worse than the Great Depression.
He's predicting another crash.
Yeah, and he's, like, really specific about the time frame, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he says it's going to happen sometime between September 2024 and sometime in 2025.
Okay.
But he says October 24th, 2024, that's the anniversary of the 1929 crash. That's like a date to really watch out for. So it's a lot to take in, like this really dark picture he's painting.
Yeah, for sure. A bullet, a financial crash. Yikes.
But he doesn't just leave us there hanging in this pit of despair. There's more. He actually talks about a green era that emerges after all this.
A green era.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he sees it as this return to a simpler, more natural way of life, kind of like a rebuilding, but in a good way.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's almost like all this chaos, it's like a necessary reset button,
I see. So it's like a crash and then rebirth.
Exactly.
Wow, this is already so much. We haven't even gotten to the rest of the vision yet.
I know, right? And remember, this is all presented as like divinely inspired, which, adds another layer to everything.
Yeah, it definitely makes you think about the nature of prophecy and faith and like the role they play in all of this.
For sure.
So where do we go from here?
Well, to really get into all this, I think we got to look closer at what Biggs says about the financial stuff, because that's where he gets really specific and kind of controversial, too.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. So he really thinks like people should prepare for this crash.
Yeah, and he doesn't just say, like, be careful. He actually points to precious metals, specifically gold and silver.
Oh, okay, like investing in them.
Exactly, like as a safe haven during all the craziness.
Interesting.
And get this, he even throws out numbers.
Really?
Yeah, he says gold's going to skyrocket to, like, $10,000 an ounce.
Whoa, that's like 4 times what it is now.
Yeah, crazy, right? And then silver, he says, will increase like 6-fold.
I mean, that's a huge jump. I wonder if like anyone else is predicting that.
It's definitely bold, especially because the market, like, you never really know what it's going to do.
Right, for sure.
But what's really interesting is how he ties this into his whole critique of the current system.
Right.
Yeah, he calls it a fraudulent scheme built on fiat currency, and he basically says it's all going to crumble.
So he's like advocating for a return to something more tangible.
Yeah, exactly. Like back to basics, a simpler system backed by something real like precious metals.
He kind of fits with his whole green era idea, right?
It totally does, like stripping away all the complexity, going back to something more like natural, sustainable.
Interesting. But he's not completely anti-technology, right? Because he mentions cryptocurrency too.
That's right, he does. And it's kind of cool how he brings that in. Like, he sees potential in these decentralized currencies.
So it's like he's picking and choosing from both worlds, huh? The ancient wisdom of precious metals and then this cutting-edge tech.
Yeah, like a blend of old and new, trying to find that sweet spot,
It's definitely a unique perspective.
But we got to keep in mind, even Biggs himself admits that not all his visions have come true.
Right, right. Important to remember that.
So, I mean, take it all with a grain of salt, Do your own research, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Got to be critical about this kind of stuff.
But let's step back from the financial stuff for a minute, because there's another part of this vision that's just like mind-blowing.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. He talks about human evolution like we're on the verge of something huge.
Okay, what does he mean?
So he's saying humans are going to develop like extraordinary abilities.
Like superpowers.
Yeah, kind of. Like he talks about telepathic communication, telekinesis.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah, and even the power to like perceive and influence the past, present, and future all at the same time.
That's a lot to unpack.
It really is. It's almost like science fiction, but he's grounding it in science, at least in a way.
How so?
Well, he believes that there's like this dormant potential in our DNA.
Okay.
And he links this to advancements in technology, specifically research into brain-computer interfaces.
That's pretty fascinating. I mean, those are being developed, right?
Yeah, mainly for like treating neurological disorders and stuff.
Right, right.
But Biggs seems to think they could unlock like entirely new levels of cognitive ability.
So it's not just about healing, it's about like enhancing.
Exactly, yeah, pushing the boundaries of what we even think is possible.
I mean, imagine a world where we can actually communicate telepathically.
I know, right? Or like move objects with our minds.
It would completely change everything.
Totally. Our understanding of reality, how we interact with each other, even what it means to be human.
It's a wild thought, but also kind of scary, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of ethical and philosophical questions that come with all of this.
For sure, for sure.
But, speaking of mind-blowing possibilities, Biggs doesn't stop there. He takes it even further.
Oh no, what else is there?
He talks about aliens, like actual contact with extraterrestrial beings.
Wait, really? What, like hostile invasion stuff?
No, actually the opposite. He emphasizes that these beings are benevolent, like they're here to help us.
Huh, that's different from what you usually hear.
Yeah, right? It's not the typical alien narrative.
So what, they're just gonna, like, pop in and say hi?
Well, he sees it as more than that. He thinks they'll share advanced knowledge and technology.
Like a cosmic knowledge transfer.
Exactly. And maybe even help us discover a new energy source, something clean, sustainable,
I mean, that would be amazing, but how does he know all this?
He points to, like, the increase in UFO sightings and stuff like that as evidence that we're not alone.
Okay, and what about the government? Do they know?
Oh, he definitely thinks so, but he says they're keeping it all under wraps, afraid of mass panic.
Classic cover-up, huh?
Yeah. But even if we're skeptical about all that, I mean, the idea of encountering other intelligent life, it's just fascinating.
It really is. It's a question that's been around forever.
And who knows, maybe Biggs' vision, even if it's not, like, literal, maybe it'll spark more people to, like, actually look into it.
That'd be cool. Kind of push in the right direction.
Yeah, but let's not get too lost in space just yet, because Biggs also talks about America specifically and what's in store for us.
Oh, right. Back down to Earth.
Yeah, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows. He gets into some of the challenges we might face, things like political polarization, economic inequality, all that.
That's heavy stuff.
It is, and he's basically saying these issues, they could get worse.
Oh, great.
Yeah, he paints this, like, pretty stark picture: civil unrest, rising crime, even a breakdown of social order.
So even with all the, like, evolution and aliens, we still got to deal with this stuff.
Exactly. It's like a reminder that those big cosmic things don't make the real world problems go away.
Right, for sure.
But he doesn't just leave us in this, like, dystopian future.
There's hope.
Yeah. He believes that America can come out of this stronger, more united.
So it's like a crucible, a test.
Yeah, exactly. And he sees America as having this, like, crucial role in the whole global transformation he's talking about.
Oh, interesting. Like a leader in this new era.
Exactly. Like a beacon of hope, showing the rest of the world the way forward.
That's a powerful image. But how does he see that happening?
He emphasizes, like, community, self-reliance, and spiritual preparedness.
Okay, so it's not just about, like, technology and stuff.
Right. It's about people coming together, forming local networks, growing their own food, generating their own energy.
Wow. Almost like a return to a more decentralized way of life.
Exactly. Yeah. Relying less on, like, big systems and institutions and more on each other.
I can see how that would tie into his whole vision,
It totally does. It's like rediscovering the strength of our communities. That's how we navigate the future.
Makes sense.
And he really stresses the importance of, like, a strong moral compass, faith, spirituality, all that.
So it's not just about the practical stuff. It's about like inner strength, too.
Yeah, like personal transformation is part of the bigger societal shift.
It's a lot to think about, all these layers.
It really is, and we're not even done yet, because remember that whole thing about the bullet and Trump?
Oh, yeah, that was wild.
That brings up some really interesting questions about, like, prophecy and how it connects to real life.
It's definitely a powerful image, right? A bullet just whizzing by, like, that makes you think.
Yeah, and he didn't just say it happened. He said he saw it, like, up close, that it actually, like, hurt Trump's eardrum.
Yeah, that's the part that really gets me, like, how do you even interpret that?
I know. It's like, is it a literal thing that we should be looking for, or is it more like a metaphor and, symbolic of the pressures and attacks he's facing?
Right, exactly. It really makes you question, like, the whole nature of prophecy and premonition and how much of it is literal versus, like a broader message or warning.
Totally. And it's interesting because he doesn't just focus on Trump specifically. He also talks about, like, the whole future of humanity. He
Yeah.
seems to think we're on the brink of some massive evolutionary leap.
Yeah, like we talked about before with the telepathy and telekinesis and all that. It's a pretty radical idea.
And he seems to really believe it, like that we're going to tap into these hidden abilities in our DNA somehow.
And it ties it all back to technology,
Yeah.
right? With the brain-computer interfaces and all that.
Yeah, like our tools are going to become extensions of ourselves, not just physically, but mentally and maybe even spiritually.
It's wild to think about. I mean, imagine a world where you can just think something and the person next to you knows exactly what you're thinking.
I know, right? Or like move something across the room just with your mind. It would be a completely different reality.
And it makes you wonder, like, what would that do to us as humans? Would it change our relationships or our sense of self or even like the fabric of society?
That's the big question, isn't it? And it's not just about the technology itself, but also about our intentions and how we use it for good or for bad.
Totally. It's like a whole new ethical landscape that we'd have to navigate.
For sure. And speaking of navigating new landscapes, Biggs doesn't just stop at human evolution. He takes us even further out there with his alien predictions.
Right. The benevolent aliens who are going to come help us out.
Yeah, it's definitely a more optimistic take on alien contact than we usually see. Like, they're not here to conquer or destroy. They're here to guide us and share their knowledge.
Yeah, like some kind of cosmic mentorship program.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe they'll even help us solve some of our biggest problems like climate change or energy scarcity.
It's a hopeful thought, isn't it? That wow, maybe we're not alone in this and there's someone out there looking out for us.
It is. And even if we're skeptical about the specifics, I think it's important to keep an open mind to the possibility that there's more to the universe than we currently understand.
Absolutely. And maybe Biggs's vision, even if it's not meant to be taken literally, maybe it's a way to open our minds to those bigger possibilities.
Right, like a call to look beyond our limitations and consider the vastness of what could be out there.
And even while we're exploring those cosmic possibilities, Biggs doesn't let us forget about the here and now.
Yeah.
He talks a lot about the challenges we're facing right here on Earth.
Yeah, like climate change and increasing natural disasters.
He sees it as part of a larger planetary shift, almost like Earth is going through its own transformation.
Yeah, and he even talks about the possibility of the magnetic poles reversing, which is a pretty intense idea.
It is, but even amidst all that chaos and uncertainty, he still offers a message of hope.
Yeah, he believes that humanity can survive these challenges and even come out stronger on the other side.
And he really emphasizes the importance of community and self-reliance.
Yeah.
People coming together to support each other and build a more sustainable way of life.
Right, like we need to rediscover those essential skills and values that maybe we've lost touch with in our modern world.
And it's not just about survival, it's about thriving. Creating a world where we're more connected to each other, to nature, and to something bigger than ourselves.
I think that's a powerful message, and it's something we can all take to heart, whether or not we believe in every detail of Biggs' vision.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that the future is ultimately what we make it, and that even in the face of uncertainty, there's always hope and the possibility for positive change.
Well said, and on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. I hope you found it as thought-provoking as we did.
It's definitely been a wild ride.
It has, and as always, we encourage you to keep exploring these questions and see where they lead you. Thanks for joining us.